All right, everybody. Welcome to the beginning of Day 2, Round 10 of Grand Prix Seattle. Here on GG's Live, I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm with Marshall Sutcliffe, and we are about to watch 2 of the 4 remaining perfect records square off here in Round 10. Evan Nelson on your left. There you get a look at Evan Nelson. And he is playing against Craig WESCOE, world's quarterfinalist. Just a, player who's been on a heater for like 2 years now.
Yeah. Now, Craig's known. What kind of decks does Craig normally play? Doesn't he play? Is he a white weenie player?
He is.
Isn't that what he's known for?
He is. And you know what? Yesterday he played nearly mono white and sealed deck.
Oh, did he?
To a 9-0 record. I mean, he's kind of notorious for it. But both players lead off with forests here.
Oh wow. Yeah, Craig WESCOE looks like he's a white-green deck like we're accustomed to seeing from Triple Innistrad as well. And we've got a Dawn Treader Elk for him and then a Dark Thicket Wolf on Evan's side. Which one would you rather have?
I love Dark Thicket Wolf. I think that card's still underrated.
Somehow it is. It's just such a good card. All right, WESCOE's going to get in.
Like, and you don't need to pump it, right? Like
it's unblockable. That's what it should say.
Like sometimes you just. Yeah. Oh, there's my Scorned Villager.
Here's your Scorned Villager. We know you love this card. And it's good.
Yeah.
I can see why you like it.
Yeah. Well, you and I did our draft last night. And it was like green-white. I was green-white. You were white-blue.
Yep.
And you were talking about how you were just demoralized by my turn 1 Avacyn Pilgrim.
Avacyn Pilgrim wrecked me. We played 2 games. You ran me over in both of them. I tried to race you. And even with a cleaver on a human, didn't matter.
Just go big.
Yeah. You just went bigger than mine. Yeah, that was it. You had 2 3s and I had 1 2s or 2 2s. Yeah. That was it.
There's an Orchard Spirit for Evan Nelson. Another card I think that is still
totally
just people don't seem to fully appreciate.
A 2/2 fire for 3.
It's like you'll miss me when I'm gone.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so Craig's going to decide if he's going to attack, and he's going to go ahead and send in his elk here. I love the art on that card, John Avon.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
wow.
Turn
4 Angelic Overseer.
Yeah.
And also since the Scorned Villagers isn't flipped yet, it gets the
Don't flip it, 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 don't flip it.
But honestly, if he does...
Whatever.
Yeah. So if he did, you would assume that he had something like Crushing Vines in his hand. Where he can kill the Overseer while Craig still doesn't have any humans, because being green-white means that Craig very likely has quite a few humans in his deck. Beyond the one that's on the table. Wow. So powerful.
That card is so
4
good.
Angelic Overseer, and it's active. It looks like the flip did indeed happen here.
So, the gate is down.
Yes. So now it's only a 5/3 flyer for 5.
Right. The gate is down. What do you got?
Now, we don't know what Evan's second color is yet.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. So, tricksy Craig WESCOE.
So Craig has a Village Bellringers in his deck. So now...
What a tricksy.
What a guy.
So-and-so.
This is... Evan is this a travel preparation? Oh my goodness.
All right, people at home, set the over-under on the number of travel preparations in his green-white deck. We're not going to give you the answer, but, the line is 3.
The line is 3.
The line is 3.
I've got the under. There's only 2 packs of Innistrads. All right.
But we have Craig WESCOE's draft on camera. So at some point we can sit down and play through the draft, and we can find out what the correct answer is.
And Craig is going to definitely not flashback his travel preps. Now that should be a signal to Evan that that Craig has something else that he'd like to do this turn. Well, it could just be a creature in the second main phase. Could be a lot of different things. And we know that Craig has a Village Bellringers.
Okay.
So it looks like Evan's plan is to block and pump here. He gets to eat the flipped Villagers.
Transformed, yeah.
And he's going to go ahead and pay 4 mana here to flash in a Briar Pack Alpha.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That is just a beating. So he's going to give the +2/+2 to his flipped Villagers. And he's going to drop Evan to 8 here. So at this point, even though Craig is holding on to the trick. Why did that flip? He played the Briar Pack Alpha, right?
He played Briar Pack Alpha and
Travel Preps. Oh, yeah, transformed, right?
We're not in Kamigawa anymore.
Yeah. So he's just going to scoop it
like,
up.
yeah, I cannot beat your Angelic Overseer with my 3 lands.
That was devastating.
Yeah.
And it was really the ramp that you love so much in this format. I love
ramp, yeah.
Because even before it transformed, it still creates the one green mana, which gave him the turn 4 Angelic Overseer, which is just dominating.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, like, even if, Evan didn't really draw anything in that game.
Well,
but,
he had a turn 2 and a turn 3 play.
Right. It was perfectly reasonable. Mm-hmm. But even if he had more mana, what is he doing there? Yeah. And it's like, Craig is like, oh, you're tapped out. Awesome. Now I don't have to worry about my bell ringers.
Yeah, that's the thing is that, at that point, he could afford to just lose. Like, if Evan decided that he wanted to use his turn, the mana on his turn to kill the Angelic Overseer, then he was still in a horrible spot for the crackback for what WESCOE had anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. It looks like Crushing Minds is a card that Craig WESCOE was main decking.
Oh, I think that's totally reasonable, but I think he wants to pull it out here. Yeah, he's going to change it for a rebuke here. That makes a lot of sense against that heavy green deck. We still haven't seen what Evan's second color is yet.
Well, I mean, you'd have to assume it's red, right?
Why?
Just because...
Because they're at the same table?
They're at the same table. Mm-hmm. I mean, you might have seen something, right? You might have seen a werewolf or something like that. But I mean, if he's green-white, and as far as I can tell, Craig had cornered the market on that color combination.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if you're green, you might be green-blue, mm-hmm. but it seems...
Yeah.
But green-red is just the color that people want to be in. It's the green-white of this new format, right?
It makes... I think so. Like, with the addition of Immerwolf...
and more importantly, Wild Hunger.
Wild Hunger.
Right,
definitely.
that's just a card that you open that, you're like, first pick, you're like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I really like about Wild Hunger too is that it does slot into a typical green build, like a green-white even in WESCOE's deck, because a lot of people will have Dawn Treader Elks, they'll have Caravan Vigils, and they'll splash for like a Brimstone Volley, and now you just get the side value of having the...
We saw that in a couple Seal decks yesterday too, mm-hmm. where they were like, oh, I'm splashing for this red removal, and I get the added value of being able to flash back my Wild Hunger.
Yeah, I mean, when I play Wild Hunger, I really, really want to be able to flash it back, but I think it's borderline even if you can. Like, that card is really good.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, though, it's so good in green and red, too, because a lot of times you can also sort of disguise it. Because you're like, well, I mean, I didn't want to cast anything on my turn. They're like...
I'm flipping my world.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too weird to have untapped mana.
I mean, the main thing about Wild Hunger is that it gives the green-red decks the kind of reach that they didn't have. When you have a 4/4 or maybe even a 7/7 on board, they very rarely connect until your opponent's about to die anyway, and this changes that. You were right, so I saw red here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, a lot of times also you're like, okay, your Tormented Pariah is transformed. Mm-hmm. I will block it with this.
Yeah.
This little dirtily thing.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden
buy myself a turn.
All right, so no Pilgrim here for WESCOE. I don't know how many he's got. He has any. And looks like Evan's got
the
turn
Wolf.
2 Wolf again, which is very strong. I mean, that's a pretty ideal 2-drop in this format.
Yeah.
And that's a Dryad there.
Dryad.
So we have an unblockable creature probably just for the rest of the game.
And as far as we can tell, that's a main deck card for WESCOE. We didn't see him side that in.
No.
So, he's just decided that I think a lot of people might be green.
Yeah, and plus,
it's just fine, right? It's just a 2/2 for 2. It's fine.
One of the interesting things that they did with that card is they didn't make it into a relevant... Markov Blademaster. So this is the double strike, and it also has the vampire ability, where whenever it hits an opponent, it gets a +1/+1 counter. And this card is awesome because...
it's one of the cards I haven't played with yet.
Okay, well, I have. And the way it works when you actually play it out is a lot different than you'd think. It hits for first strike damage and it gets a counter. And then it hits for regular strike damage. So it actually hits for 3 the first time that thing gets in. It can end the game very quickly if it's not answered.
Sure. So it attacks for 1.
And so
and then it attacks for 2. It gets in for 2. Sure.
Yeah. So just on the first hit, it's 3. Right. The next time you hit, so by that time it's 3. So it's 3 damage. So it's 7 the next time. It just thing gets huge really quick. Like if Evan has any way to get the Scorn Villagers out of the way, I mean, he's going to be able to attack anyway, but if he can just move those out and make sure that the path is clear for his Blade Master here, he's going to do that because it's going to get too big.
I mean, he's pretty happy if he puts his Scorn Villagers in the way, too.
Yeah, it's just Craig does have the green mana open, so it would be a 2-for-1 in Evan's favor, which is pretty nice, but that Blade Master is just a good card.
There are about 2 minutes remaining in construction.
So you should take 5 here.
Your decks should be pretty much done, and you should just be finishing registering. Once again, about 2 minutes left to register.
So he should have another counter on his Blade Master here.
Yeah, there should be another counter there.
Yep.
Right.
Because first strike goes on, he gets a
Yeah,
counter,
whenever it
second
deals
strike.
combat damage. So it deals first strike combat damage, then it deals second strike combat damage.
That's right.
So there should be 2 counters on that Blade Master.
Yeah, and he should have
And
taken 3
perhaps
damage.
Rusty wants to relay that to somebody.
All right, looks like they have the life totals correct. They just didn't bump the dice. There we go. Gotcha.
And then another Dark Thicket Wolf and an Ashmouth. Ooh.
Yeah, those are the type of plays you want in these aggressive decks where turn 4 you get to play 2 things. This is an almost ideal curve. 2-drop, 3-drop, 2 drops is pretty much what you want to be doing. So Craig, he's got 5 mana at his disposal here, and I see the Rebuke in his hand. So that would explain why he took the damage from the Blade Master. He said, look, I'll take 3, but I'm not taking any more after that. And he's just going to pass the turn and flip his werewolf. Transform his werewolf.
Right. Every time you say it, you have to howl like a wolf now as a penalty.
Do you have to do that too?
I do.
Okay.
I do. That's the new rule.
It's both of us. Transform's a long word. Alright, so Evan's got 5 mana. He can't pump both of his Dark Thicket Wolves, but he can pump 1.
Craig's like, look, I've got nothing. These cards are harmless.
Yeah, nothing
Put
here.
them down in front of me. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it. I see.
What is that? If you're Evan and Craig lays his cards down like that, and you're a card player, what is he telling you?
Well, my assumption is that he asked him how many cards he had in his hand, so he's just like really trying to be very
casual about
it. Yeah, just like, look, this is what I got. But I mean, the fact is that when your opponent has 5 cards in their hand and 5 mana untapped, and they're in a deck like this,
he has 6 mana untapped.
Oh yeah, 6 mana now. You know for sure that he has something in his hand.
Ooh, look at it. He's only sending in the wolves.
He's just going to send in the wolves. Craig doesn't have any great blocks for just the wolves.
I think maybe you have to double block the wolf here. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to fall so far behind.
Yeah,
like,
so
I mean, you got to start.
He can just block 1 on each if he wants, and then force Evan to pump 1 of them.
He doesn't want to rebuke that.
No, he needs to save that for the Blade Master because I don't think he has a way to get into combat with the Blade Master very easily. So he's going to pump. Now, he could rebuke here, but he needs to have another way to deal with the Blade Master later, a plan for that if that's what he's going to do.
Keep in mind, if he has the... Angelic Overseer, right? You know,
that will do a fine job of it. Yeah, he will need a human. I mean, you'd think he just would have slammed the Overseer. It would have had Hex.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm saying it would be
double combat trick here.
Ooh.
So he did rebuke the pumped wolf, and he's going to gain life.
That moment of heroism is a fine way to interact with the Blade Master too.
No, I'm wondering if
he must have something in store for it.
I see 3 lands in his hand. We have 2 spells here, so this is going to transform back. The villagers are once again scorned. And Craig is holding a handful of lands here.
We were talking about Wild Hunger before, and we're talking about Markov Blademaster, and multiple people on Twitter are like, the thing is when you Wild Hunger your Blademaster.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, one guy's talking about doing it, and some other guy is talking about losing a game where someone did it. So I think Barrio the Big played Chaos Smurf at the pre-release.
And now they're both complaining.
Well, one's bragging.
Side. Yeah,
one's bragging, one's complaining. Oh, man, Wild Hunger. Blademaster seems ridiculous.
This is interesting. So, did you see what Craig did there? He thought about his play for a long time. Now, we know that he's just holding lands here.
Right.
But he really was deciding. You can see that he's still looking at his hand. He actually feigned tapping mana, and then said, "No, I'm gonna pass so I can transform my will."
Like, wouldn't you just happily have traded your Somberwall Dryad for the other guy? Then you can still do the same play on this turn, or not even have to. You don't even have to transform your guy, and then you're able to make it a 4/4 against the 3/3 first. Oh boy!
Oh man! Falkenrath Marauders comes down. This is haste. This is going to get a lot bigger as well. Yeah,
green-red vampires.
If I didn't have another way, for me, I would be very worried about the Blademaster. It looks like, again, same situation as before. Craig's got 3 cards in hand and 100 mana open, so Evan's not wanting to just start throwing his guys in. Plus, he doesn't want to trade his Blademaster off for one of the 2. For one of the 2 drops in the 2. Looks like Craig's throwing another land here.
Well, he would trade it for both of them, right? Double strikes. He kills one.
He kills one.
He doesn't even. It's not even a trade, right? He kills both of them. Neither one of them gets his guy.
You're right, because it's a 3/3. Yeah, I forgot about that. Good call.
And if he's got a trick, he's going to use it on that, why wouldn't you just?
I assume that he's going to attack now. The fact that the Marauders weren't removed should signal to him that the coast is relatively clear here. Craig's doing a really good job, though, of pretending like he's got something worthy in his hand.
Well, again, remember that point where he put down the 5 cards and he's like, I have 5 cards? It sort of indicates, it makes you feel like there's a lot of stuff going on in your hand.
Yeah. No, Evan's still content to just keep attacking with the Marauders. I mean, that is a win condition in and of itself.
Sure.
But I think that, after WESCOE takes this twice, it should be a fairly strong indicator. Because WESCOE's hands are kind of tight. He would have to remove that, too. I mean, that's going to kill him just like the Blademaster will, except for that he can't chunk that. We have a Festerhide Boar without Morbid here. He's going to probably view that as expendable and send it in next turn as well. And I think it's time to attack with the Blademaster.
I mean, I think you just send in the Ashmouth Hound. I would.
You just ship the squad.
I would have attacked with everything there, and then maybe ended up with a 5/5 Festerhide. But I get one of your guys off the table
and take the
it to him
or something. Yeah,
I do agree.
I think that once he doesn't remove the Falkenrath Marauders, that should be a signal to you that he can't. It represents just as much of a threat.
But even if he can, don't you want to overload the red zone? You don't want him to just get I get your one guy.
So he plays Falkenrath Marauders and he attacks.
But you attack with the Blademaster too, because if he has the rebuke.
So the first turn he played it fine, but after that, that's when I would do what you're saying. It's 2 turns in a row.
Doesn't look like it's going to matter.
No, because Craig WESCOE is just tanking out over if he wants to play one of the forests or the plains. He's going to do the lay down his cards thing again. I saw some of the coverage from the Pro Tour where WESCOE got some camera time. Now he's had enough. And WESCOE's he's very stone-faced. I don't think you're going to get a big read off of him, but you can read the board. You can see, look, he would have killed this if he could. He's going to have to chunk block here.
Right, there's no reasonable way for him to block the Blademaster.
No. He's going to take 9 here. And Evan's just going to say, sure, just take 9, go to 2.
Ashmouth Hound's dead too, right?
Yeah, Ashmouth Hound should have traded. There we go.
That's right, buddy.
Yeah. Can't have it all. I see a Harvest Pyre.
A rolling tumbler?
A rolling tumbler.
Yeah. And a scoop?
And a scoop. Yeah. So, I mean, the core of that game is just that Craig flooded, right? I mean, that's the core of it. But there was a lot more to it because Evan had to decide whether he wanted to increase his clock and hope that Craig didn't have anything, or whether he wanted to play it safe and kind of play around the maximum amount of things, and that's what he decided to do.
Right.
Players in the 9 a.m. sealed event. Pairings for your first
Craig's
round.
deciding if he wants to put in a skillful lunge here. Another reasonable combat trick in a deck like his.
Question vines come back.
I like matches like this. Slugfest.
Yeah.
Just two aggressive decks just
I
going
mean,
at it.
the thing is, it looks like Evan Nelson's like a heavyweight. Like, he's just got all these kind of like big body blows.
Sure.
And Craig's like all like kind of like jabs and quick hits.
He's
and,
leaned out.
yeah. He's a little more
efficient.
bantamweight, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you were right. The crushing vines just came back in.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's keeping the rebuking as well, though.
Yeah. I mean, he needs.
It seems very good versus Evans.
There are creatures he is not going to defeat with like hand-to-hand combat, right?
Right. Exactly. He can rely on his combat tricks. The interesting thing about Evan's deck, though, is that about the matchup is that these two decks want to race. Right? I mean, they want to be the aggressor.
Right.
And if Craig decides to allow that and start a race where they're swinging into each other, attack, it favors Evan quite a bit because we've seen 2 haste creatures out of him, and they're both very powerful haste creatures, the Blade Master and the Marauders. And, Craig's not going to have... he could have...
Well, Blade Master doesn't have haste.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry.
But it just...
We've seen one
It just
haste
hits
creature
so hard.
and another one that just hits really hard where it kind of halts the proceedings,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, and it's not unreasonable to assume he doesn't, have an Erdwall Ripper or something like that. I mean, you have to respect... I mean, he's... his mana could certainly support it.
Yeah. I forgot that it didn't have haste. I think I was thinking of that Airwall.
Yeah, you're just confusing the casting costs.
Yeah, because they're both the same. But, yeah, it does seem like Evan's creatures have a little bit more punch, but Craig has got a lot of tricks, and I think he can... one of the things is the moment of heroism. That comes in these races a lot. You can stem the tide, turn around the life totals very quickly with a card like that. I'm wondering if how much burn Evan has in his deck. That's going to be a key one too.
We haven't seen anything, right?
No, Rolling Tumbler doesn't count.
Right. Oh, right. And the Harvest Pyre is not really burn. It's not.
No.
It's not reach.
I'm looking for.
You're looking for a finisher.
Brimstone Falls.
Yeah. Or Wild Hunger. I mean, is in a sense a burn spell.
I would assume he has one. That's one of the reasons
why you want to be green red.
Yeah, he could also have a Huntmaster of the Fells if he got particularly fortunate in the draft portion.
Magic players in Infinite Draft, numbers 1 and number 2.
Is it a Pyre Heart Wolf?
Registration table.
It's one of my favorite cards out of the new set, and that would also force Craig to race. It could be a Hinterland Hermit. I can't say.
Wow, Pyre Heart Wolf and Blade Master seems brutal.
Oh, God. Looks like Craig's going to take a mulligan here.
Did you ever play with Goblin War Drums?
No.
The back in the old days of Limited, when Limited was like, core set, or there's Goblin War Drums is one of those cards. It's essentially a Pyre Wolf. It's an enchantment. All your creatures have to be black. It was such a great finisher.
Oh, you'd play it.
It was like. It was
gotcha.
It's like it was so much harder to finish off a game of Sealed in the old days. Like, like Sealed would just all come down to like 1/2/2 flyer for 5 mana.
And a bunch of 2/3 staring each other down on the.
Oh, look at that Avacyn Pilgrim.
Oh, we've got a Pilgrim out of nowhere here. Craig's probably a little bitter that he didn't end up with that. So we missed a land drop.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And Craig has played nothing so far. I see a travel preps in his hand.
Yeah, it's the problem
Ooh,
sometimes.
that was a nice draw.
Sometimes the problem with that travel prep deck is like if you draw your travel preps and not your dudes.
Depending on how many you have.
Or you draw one dude, or you draw one dude and two travel preps.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a very fine balance.
Knowing when to travel prep one guy.
It looks like Craig's going to use his turn's worth of mana to review.
He's like, oh, you're not going to pump? Okay.
I'll still kill it, he says.
Good morning once again, 9 a.m. Seal players.
Probably going to see a Kessig Wolf here, it looks like. Could be a Fireheart Wolf, but Kessig Wolf just hits a lot.
Yeah.
It also has that kind of unblockable clause.
Yeah.
We call that threat of activation on this show. Looks like Craig's got a few too many lands and a travel preps needs some dudes. He might have a play here. Oh, Briarpack Alpha is going to come down. It's going to give itself the pump, and it's going to eat a wolf. So it's a 5/5 on the block. Man, that card is
it's really good. There were not many cards I first picked over it in Dark Ascension. I mean, I would take it over a lot of ways.
I don't know that I've seen it not be a 2-for-1 that's been resolved against me. It is right here.
Yeah.
Just every single time it eats something and commits a 3/3.
Yeah, he's like
Spidery Grasp.
Because he but both creatures are going to die, right?
It's 5, and it's 5.
Yeah, so it's a 2-for-1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still a 2-for-1, and it was going to be if he didn't do that. I don't think that's what Evan wanted to do ideally with his turn there, but I think he's pretty happy not to be facing down a 3/3 with his guy gone. And we've got 5 mana here for Craig. And it looks like he has a
only
Smite the
one
Monstrous,
white,
a Travel Preps, and an Angelic Overseer in his hand. So the one white is coming into somewhat important. Oh, Evan's hit another land drop. He's got all red cards in his hand. We're going to see that wolf, the Fireheart Wolf, come down here. It's not a great threat on its own. It wants to have friends. Only one power.
Hey, what are you guys doing over here? But he does play the Fireheart.
He's going to play it. We're just going to assume he's going to attack with the Pilgrim here.
Rashad, you've played with Goblin War Drums back in the day, right?
Which one is that? Plus,
It's the enchantment that makes all you got all your creatures.
you have to be double block.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Am I the only one who played sealed deck in darkened caves with drawings on the walls and like fur pelts to keep us warm? We didn't have sleeves. We had fur pelts.
I started at Stronghold.
Oh, okay. So yeah. I started with unlimited. So.
All right, so Craig drew and played a Festerhide Boar. And interestingly, Evan did not attack with his Pilgrim on the last turn because he just didn't want to risk it as it's really one of his only lands here.
Sure.
He did draw a Mountain subsequently and has now played the Falkenrath Marauders and has swung in with both that and the Fireheart Wolf, which they're both getting in.
Yep.
So Evan is forcing a race here.
Well, except, I mean, little does he know, he's just made his vampire smiteable.
That is true.
Smotable.
It's going to get smote.
I'd like to see, we're talking about stuff I want to see today. I want to see Fateful Hour in play.
Yeah.
Like, have you Clinging Mists to anyone yet?
Oh, I don't play that card. Never would play that card.
Really?
No way.
Are you crazy?
I don't play Fogs.
All right.
No, sir.
You just don't like to win games you were going to otherwise just lose and get crushed?
No,
I'm not saying you started all the time, but it's
I
certainly
like to win games that I was supposed to win by playing, like, creatures instead of crappy Fogs that sit in my hand and make me feel bad about myself.
Like, sometimes you just race, man, right? Like, it changes the race.
Yeah, but I'd rather just have another dude. I mean, I'm not saying, like, I see the upside. Those cards absolutely can steal games. But I just feel like they lose me more games sitting in my hand than they steal me. Oh, he's got a double face card here from
Ooh, little
Darkest
mystery
Engine.
card. Woo!
We never know what these ones.
What could it be? So interesting, even though players are using sleeves, if your sleeves are at all less than perfectly opaque, you really want to still use a checklist card.
Yep. Which is why I use completely opaque sleeves.
Same.
I like the art.
I have gold disco sleeves. They're like gold lame.
They're actually reflective.
Yeah. There's all sorts of other things wrong with them, but you can't see a double
But you
face card.
cannot see a double face card.
The Riot
Right.
Devils, Ashmouth Hound.
Yeah. Craig decided to main phase take out the Falcon Wrath Marauders just to play
Yeah,
around
man.
things
Yeah.
like
Ranger's
Guile.
Guile.
Yeah,
For sure.
It's a very adept play. A lot of players will wait till the last second to play a
Well,
spell
yeah.
because it's normally a good default.
So Aaron Forsyth talks about that a lot of times, how when you first start playing, you get taught to do stuff. Do it at the end of your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Use your mana most efficient. And he's like, the next level is just being like, nope, I got to do this right now.
Yep.
Or I got to do this during your upkeep.
Yeah,
or I
that's
got
a good one.
to,
Yeah, when counter magic is in play, that comes in a lot.
So there we see a travel prep on
Yeah.
the Dryad and
Yep.
Frustrated Boar, and he just brings it.
Yeah, because I don't think he's going to risk setting up a double block here, and it looks like Evan is going to be able to attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe if he sends a Pilgrim 6. And Craig's actually going to be hitting pretty hard here. He's hitting for 4 now, and on the next turn, he's just setting up a race. He can hit for, assuming that Evan does attack, he's going to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 power up. 5 of it trample. 4 of it unblockable.
Unblockable, yeah.
So
Right, he actually can close this game out in
Yeah.
2 turns if he could stay alive. So,
Yeah,
2,
this is
4, 5, 6. Like, I mean, there's 6 points coming across.
Yeah.
So he's winning this
he's
race.
winning this race.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 3-turn clock for Evan, and it's a 2-turn clock for Craig. So, and Evan's still protecting his Pilgrim, so we're going to assume he's going to have some stuff to cast here.
Like, all right, I will take 5.
He's going to get us Orchard
There's
Spirit into
Orchard
play
Spirit.
here. And
There's
we're
a,
going to get
I'm
the
going
mystery.
to assume it's a Hinterland Hermit.
Okay.
No, Scorn Villager.
Your favorite.
Okay. Craig's like, I'm going to check that.
Yeah. Now, does that change the clock? That's the question.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage.
And if he transforms his Scorn Villagers,
That's 10 damage.
it's still 10. So
So he needs a little
it's-
something.
Yeah. Now, he can block and take away a little bit of damage from the boar, which could also swing
Sure.
the race back. This is also what we were mentioning earlier, moment of heroism.
Oh, yeah.
That's where this kind of card can add a full turn,
Yes.
to your opponent's clock, and swing the race in your favor in a very big way.
All right, flashing it back.
Flashing it back, he still can't hit that second white source, so he's just going with plan A, which is get in there.
He's like, what? He loses if he sits back here, right? He
Yes.
has to attack.
Yep, he's got a Crushing Vines in his hand,
In case there's another Marauders.
which awkwardly doesn't kill the Orchard
Anything.
Spirit.
Yeah.
It feels like it has flying, but it actually doesn't.
So Evan takes it.
And Evan's card in hand is a Rolling Tumbler, which he does not want to cast at this stage.
Yeah.
He just takes it all. So Evan is now setting up to draw something that can get the extra points through.
He's at 4, so like it doesn't even he's just dead to the Dryad. He's not even.
Evan is trying to draw a pump spell or a burn spell. Okay, so Craig says you're going to transform, but he actually doesn't. Something to pump power and toughness, something to get a little bit more damage through.
I did not think Craig was winning this game.
This is... Look at the board. And Craig's had stranded cards in his hand, so he's just going to get in there, just like with everybody, which isn't enough on its own.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go to 2. Got it?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. I think Craig's got this. I can't see what card he has, but it's green. Shouldn't matter. I guess a spidery grass can get him out. No, that wouldn't do it either. He's going to transform. There's that white. Doesn't seem relevant now, though. I mean, Craig's hands are tied here. He can think about what could happen here. He's going to be thorough and diligent about it.
Sure.
The fact is that he's got to turn those guys sideways and hope that Evan doesn't have anything.
I know what would do it.
What's that?
Clinging mists.
It's true. Oh, I'd be devastated.
This is last call for the legacy event.
Craig's like, well, I mean, why is Craig thinking about? Like, you're dead on the crackback. No matter, there's nothing you can do with your. Just good.
Get in. There you
No,
go.
it's not clinging mist. So.
Wow. So, Craig resolved like 4 spells that game.
One of them was to travel prep and